Here are 5 foods to eat every day to suppress your appetite. Very quickly, before we get started, I am having a huge giveaway for my birthday. I'm giving away over $10,000 worth of prizes. So make sure you visit the link in the description to see how you can enter. Hello, my honeys. If you're new here, my name is Healthy Emmie. I'm a nutritionist, a weight loss specialist, and the creator of Slim, the all-inclusive platform that gives you a custom meal plan, custom workout plan, daily meditations, access to me, Q&A sessions, everything that you can need in order to reach your ideal weight on a plant-based diet. Let's talk about the concept of suppressing the appetite. Hunger is a sign of health. Healthy people get hungry. Hunger is this glorious gift from Mother Nature that allows us to detect when our body needs more fuel. So don't look at this as you're trying to stave off hunger for the long term. Instead, look at it as these foods are going to help you address hunger, work with your hunger, and allow your body to function properly. A healthy person gets hungry 3, 4, 5 times a day, responds to it appropriately with foods that address that hunger, moves on with their day for a few more hours, and gets hungry again. This is the human experience. Hunger is a part of the human experience. We shouldn't feel hunger for prolonged amounts of time, but we should allow ourselves to feel hunger and then respond to it responsibly. Behind door number 1, we have leafy greens. You can choose any leafy greens that you would like. The darker in color they are, the more nutrient dense they are, which can play to your advantage when you are trying to suppress the appetite, quench your hunger. Foods that are high in volume, high in nutrient density, but low in calories tend to be the ones that give us the best bang for our buck when it comes to hunger. So these leafy greens, this is probably 100, 150, 200, between 100 and 200 calories for this huge bushel of lettuce. Super high in nutrients, super high in volume, high in fiber, high in water. Additionally, it is raw. It's in its raw natural form. When a food is in its raw natural form, it's high in water and the fiber is as intact as it will be. These 2 things are leading contributors to satiety. Additionally, because leafy greens are so high in fiber, they are going to help with blunting the insulin response. When you have a very sharp spike in your insulin because you've eaten something that's very high in carbohydrates but very low in fiber, the sheer drop of your blood sugar that's going to happen afterward is what causes you to feel super hungry and have that sugar crash later on, and you're going through these peaks and troughs, the highs and lows, the roller coaster of hunger. But when you have something like potatoes and then have lettuce alongside it, the fiber is going to aid in making sure that your blood sugar levels are more steady, so you have more sustained energy and you're not riding the highs and the lows of that blood sugar roller coaster. If you're not new to this channel, then you've definitely heard me talk about the thylakoids in dark green vegetables, which shut off the hunger signal. Next up here, the cat just hit the tripod. Behind door number 2, we have oranges. This is actually a clementine, but just pretend that it's an orange. What I love about these from a practical sense, before I get into the science side of things, is that these are nature's ultimate fast food because it comes in a protective coating so that you don't have to wash this food before you eat it. So you can throw it in your purse, it can be on the table, you can put it in a big fruit bowl, you can buy a huge bag of them and keep them at work. They're just such a convenient on-the-go food. Now, what makes these really magical is a recent study that was done at the University of Western Ontario where they took nobiletin from oranges, they extracted it from the oranges, and then they added it to the diet of morbidly obese mice. Not only did this flavonoid, nobiletin, reverse symptoms of obesity in the mice, but it also cleared up the amount of plaque in their arteries, which you might know as atherosclerosis. And it was also shown that the nobiletin helped with regulating the circadian rhythm of the mice and the metabolism of the mice. So who would have thought these little guys pack a serious punch? Behind door number 3 is oats. Oats contain a particular type of fiber known as beta-glucan, and beta-glucan is going to create this gel-like substance in the digestive tract. When your hunger fullness cues are working more firing on the cylinder that they should. You know, if you're dealing with constipation, diarrhea, back and forth, these GI issues, it becomes so difficult to read your hunger fullness cues because what's going on in the stomach is just, it's running amok. So if you have great digestion, your hunger fullness cues are going to be so much easier to address and read properly. So not only will it help improve your digestion, but actually the beta-glucan helps with delaying stomach emptying so you feel fuller for longer. And like I talked about earlier, the fiber in oatmeal is going to help with stabilizing your blood sugar. So yes, this is a high carbohydrate food, and it's a high fiber food, which is fantastic for energy levels because it ensures that you're going to have sustained, steady energy levels throughout the day. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the 2 supplements that I take on a daily basis. These are going to help with regulating energy levels. If you are low in vitamin D or low in vitamin B12, you are likely going to feel lethargic. And what happens when you don't have enough energy and you feel lethargic? You end up turning to food, and you're using food for the highs and then you're having the lows. So please make sure, especially if you're on a plant-based diet, that you are supplementing properly. If you're on a plant-based diet, you have to supplement with this. You're not going to get it from food. And most people, 43% of Americans, are deficient in vitamin D. Especially if you're on a plant-based diet, we get vitamin D from the sun, and I don't see much of that guy. We have a complicated relationship. So I rely on these. These are linked in the description bar for you. Behind door number 4, we have the most satisfying food on the planet, according to a study known as the Satiety Index of Common Foods. There was one food that was just absolutely off the charts as the most satisfying food on the planet, and that is the good old potato. Boiled white potatoes are shown to be one of the most satiating foods that there is. Cooking method does matter here. Here's the thing. The more water that you remove from a food, the tastier it becomes, but also the higher in calorie density it becomes, and you're more likely to eat more of it. Versus when you keep the water intact and you use a cooking method like boiling or steaming, because water doesn't have any calories, the more water a food has, the less tasty it is, the less stimulating on our brain chemistry it is. So when you boil potatoes versus when you air fry them, it's not going to have as stimulating of an effect on the brain as air frying them would or baking them would. So if you really want to maximize the effect on satiety that potatoes have, I would recommend that you boil them. Behind door number 5, we have good old lentils. Now this can represent lentils. It can represent really any legume. So beans, peas, lentils, tofu, tempeh. These foods are high in protein. Protein is shown to be one of, there's only 3 macronutrients. So if I say one of the most, it probably is the fact of the matter that protein is the most satisfying macronutrient. The difficult thing is you don't want to go ham on protein. You don't want to go so hard on protein that it is too taxing on the liver and the kidneys. Too much protein is not a great thing for the body. Your body actually ends up converting excess protein, not into muscle like we thought, but into glucose. So the body will just use it as it would a carbohydrate. That being said, the fact of the matter is that protein is a satisfying macronutrient. So if you are having foods like lentils, beans, peas, tofu, tempeh with each of your meals, you're likely going to be a lot more satisfied. Additionally, for my friends that have type 2 diabetes, if you are following a plant-based lifestyle and you are going to have something like oatmeal, a high carbohydrate food, not only having vegetables alongside it to help with blunting that insulin response and keeping your blood sugar steady, but also having a source of protein with it is going to help with keeping your blood sugar steady too. I'm using the word macronutrient, and I want to make sure you understand what that is. There are 3 macronutrients, and all foods, all natural foods, have all 3 of them in varying amounts, adding up to 100%. So the macronutrients are carbs, protein, and fat, and every food is made up of a certain percentage of those to add up to 100%. So the higher protein foods, the foods that have a higher concentration of protein, are ones that do tend to be more satisfying. If you want a meal plan that is super satisfying and a workout plan that supports that meal plan is going to help you get to your goals of either releasing weight or toning up, putting on muscle, whatever it is, then check out the Slim program and I'll give you a customized meal plan and you can just follow that and take the guesswork out of it. You also can opt for the Slim program that has access to me through weekly Q&As. I can answer all of the questions that you have and we can make sure that you are all taken care of. If you liked this video, you're gonna love the next video that pops up on the screen. It is 5 anti-inflammatory foods that I recommend you have every day. I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video.